It's Sunday, March 30th at about 8:40 in the morning, and we had our big ice storm hit this weekend. Primarily it hit here last night. We got about 3 to 5 millimeters of ice accretion yesterday, but it didn't really rain for a lot of the day. Most of the rain came last night, as I said, and now most of the trees and branches have about a half to a 3/4 inch coating of ice. And all through the night from basically 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock and still continuing, you can hear all kinds of branches and trees snapping all the time, almost non-stop. And I'm just going to take a scoot around part of the property to try and record some of this. It's been around -2 degrees all night, but now it's creeping up to -1, and it might even be getting close to 0 now. It's supposed to get to 0 by noon, and then creep up to 4 degrees centigrade by later day. And then we're actually supposed to have a low of 4 tonight with rain and even a potential thunderstorm after midnight. So we'll see if we get that. This is just showing the thick layer of ice that's on our forsythia bushes here where I feed the birds under. Just covered, and this is a good 3/4 of an inch thick here on most of these branches. Here's one of our white pine branches that broke last night right in the driveway here. Luckily we didn't leave any cars out, or we would have had a dented roof. As you can see, our driveway is just a sheet of ice. And this white pine is leaning down over our trail with all the weight of the ice on it. All the birches are extremely bent over with the weight of the ice. As long as they don't have to be bent over for too long, they will straighten up again, but I just took a quick little walk through the edge of our forest back here, but it's actually pretty dangerous right now. There's all kinds of stuff crashing to the ground. I was just hoping to see if there were any major trees down across the trails right here, and I didn't see any, but lots of small trees bent over the trails, and then, as I said, lots of bigger things crashing in the background. But it would be a bit foolhardy for me to go traipsing all through there right now. There's just so much crashing out there. Every few minutes you hear another big thing come crashing down, so I don't think I really want to risk that. Some more cherries have been bent down right over our shed here, hanging right over the ATV area. They'll probably straighten up given a bit of time. So this big pine out behind our barn lost quite a few branches. Luckily, none of the branches hit the smaller trees I have planted around it. I've got a sycamore just out behind it here. Right there is a young sycamore. And then I have a ginkgo tree back here, and both of them managed to not get hit by the branches, luckily. This big white pine out in our horse paddock lost a few fairly large branches. See them at the bottom of the tree there. Have to clear those out of there. I've just noticed this large tree that's fallen down on the edge of what I call our island out in our horse field. So I went out into the field to look at the tree, and it had actually been uprooted. It was just growing on a slab of granite bedrock, so it didn't have a lot of good rooting ability, I guess, and just the wind and the ice weight pulled it over. Big sugar maple. Always sad to see that happen to a beautiful tree, but I guess it'll provide lots of firewood.
We weren't near that.
It's 1 o'clock and we're just taking a quick scoot through some of the trails in the woods. And you can see there's lots of branches down. Temperature's just gone over 0 now. It's up around 0.5 degrees. So some of this ice will be melting more quickly out of the trees eventually. Big branch here. Lots of trail cleanup to do, that's for sure. More branches here. There's lots of branches. Lots of ice falling. I think we'll head out of the woods. A little bit active still. And will be until the ice melts out. I've been wondering about the phoebes that I've seen here over the last week. The weather's been really miserable, and they're a type of flycatcher, and I believe that's virtually all they eat are insects on the wing for the most part, or other insects, but primarily insect eaters. And I've often wondered what they do during extended times like this when the weather's miserable. Anyhow, I just saw one diving down into our central pond area, just skimming stuff off the surface of the water. I don't know what it's getting there, if anything, maybe some little aquatic insects or something that it sees. But I think it'll make it, maybe if it's made it this far, because tomorrow is going to be 15 degrees. Then we get a couple cool days again, just down around 2 and 3, and then it gets warmer for a number of days after that. So as long as it can get through this period, I'm hoping they'll be okay. Just like a flower of ice here. Ice coating this small little shrub here. My jack pines are really weighed down here, but they don't seem to be breaking. They're just drooping to the ground. And here's the jack pine with even the pine cones fully encased in ice, making them look like glass sculptures or Christmas ornaments almost. Beautiful. It's really crazy how these birch trees can bend. And as long as they're not bent over for too long, like multiple days, they should get straightened out again. This is one of our yews, and it's really bent over. I actually strung it up with some rope yesterday to try and prevent it from breaking. So hopefully the rope did some good. Redwings and the grackles are gathered here for the bird feed that I've been giving them.